Yeah, if everything is fine from your end, I'm also ready from my end.
You too. 80 or check it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the fourth day of 1 week FDP program organized by ASN Pharmacy College, Tenali, in association with APTI, AP State Branch on artificial intelligence in drug discovery and development. Myself, Dr. K. Sai Rajesh, Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, ASN Pharmacy College, Tenali. As a part of E-Fdp, today's topic will be on artificial intelligence driven drug repurposing in the management of neurodegenerative disorders. It takes me a great pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Professor Susruta Koppula, MPharm PhD. Dr. Susruta Koppula, sir, is a senior foreign faculty and a professor of pharmacology at College of Biomedical and Health Sciences, Konkuk University, South Korea. Dr. Koppula has 15 plus years of experience in teaching and conducting preclinical research in drug development for neurodegenerative disorders, cognition, oxidative stress, and aging from natural products and their isolated active constituents. Dr. Koppula earned his doctorate in pharmacy, majoring in pharmacology at University College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Andhra University, Vishakhapatnam in 2006. He is a recipient of Council of Scientific and Industrial Researcher (CSIR) Senior Research Fellowship to pursue his PhD at Andhra University. After completing his PhD, he was invited by Professor Shu Yu Hun, a renowned neuroscientist at Seoul National University, South Korea, to work in his Neuroscience Research Institute Drug Discovery Lab. He was selected as Brain Korea (BK) researcher at the National Creative Research Initiative Center for Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Korea Organization of Science and Engineering Foundation to pursue his postdoctoral research. Working as a faculty, Dr. Koppula is involved in teaching international students in various fields of biomedical and health sciences, including pharmacology, physiology, neurobiology, and natural products to undergraduate and graduate curricula. He also introduced courses like bioethics, biomedical terminology, and intelligent journal of scientific English conversation groups on the campus where he works. Along with teaching, Dr. Koppula is an active investigator in university funded research projects and the National Research Foundation, South Korea. He is also an active collaborator with Indian pharmacy institutes like Viper Narsapur, VIPS Rajmandri, Srimati Kishoritya Boyar College of Pharmacy, Nagpur. His major research interest is focused in the area of neuroscience, specifically in exploring the impact of Indian and Korean origin, medical herbs, and evaluating the underlying mechanisms in the management of neurodegenerative and neuroinflammatory disorders. His minor interest lies in the area of drug discovery against oxidative stress and aging related male reproductive and hepatic dysfunctions in cellular and experimental animal models. Dr. Coppola received 4 international patents for his work and co-authored 3 book chapters. He published more than 100 research review articles and presented significant scientific papers at international conferences. Dr. Coppola is acting as editor reviewer for various scientific journals including Elsewhere, Hendavi, MDPI, Taylor and Francis Publishing Groups. And Dr. Coppola is the first Indian to receive award, the Award of Teaching Excellence in South Korea in the year 2018. He also received the prestigious award Professor M.L. Kohran Memorial Lecture Award, instigated by Indian Pharmaceutical Association (IPA) India in the year 2021. He was invited as an inaugural speaker at the Global Tech Summit 2023 held at Vishakhapatnam, India. He acts as the community head and member of Telugu Association of South Korea (TASK) and Indians in Korea (IIK). He resides with his family in South Korea, and in his free time he enjoys golfing, swimming, and exploring Korea and its diverse cultures. Sir, it's over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your delightful introduction.
Yes, sir.
In this prestigious E-Faculty Development Program, which is instigated by ASN College of Pharmacy. So I have a special affection with your principal, Ramana Garu. And we used to be colleagues during our PhDs in Andhra University. So thank you, the entire group, for making it possible. And I think it's a successful event, and it is the fourth session. I will take over. Sorry for a little bit delay in the program, but I hope you will enjoy the rest of the session in my talk. So you have to let me know whether you can see the slide in full screen. Can anybody tell me whether the PowerPoint file is in full screen and it is visible? So is there anyone who can just give a reply that everything is fine?
Screen is visible, sir, but it's not moving, sir.
Okay, I did not start yet, so let us. Okay, so as you are seeing the title about the artificial intelligence, today in my talk I will be focusing on the artificial intelligence and drug repurposing, mainly related to neuroscience or neurodegenerative problems. Since I've been very fascinating related to neuroscience for more than 1.5 decades, so I will be talking about the use of artificial intelligence with relation to neurodegeneration and how we can use it from the approaches of the drug repurposing models. As the earlier speakers in the previous sessions, they already discussed about artificial intelligence and how it can be used in drug discovery. I'm not going to go into detailed thing, but because I'm fascinated about neuroscience in brain, I will start to explain or just to discuss with you how and why it's so important about the brain. And then slowly we can go into the artificial intelligence and then the drug repurposing techniques, which we can use it for using artificial intelligence. So since ancient times or since history, humans are always thinking about ranking the items, which one is first and which one is second, or things like that. And same is the case with the organs of our body. So we have debate related to the organs. So out of all the organs, which one is important? Usually, when we filter the organs like liver, spleen, and pancreas, the two most important organs which we believe is brain and heart. Of course, we cannot give rank for the organs. Each one have their importance. But if we have to discuss about with which organ humans can survive and without which organ humans can still live. So we have some evidence on the curious case of headless chicken. You might be surprising I'm talking about brain and you are seeing chicken without the brain. So here this chicken, the owner wants to make a nice chicken dish and he chopped off the head and he was unable to hold the chick and it ran away. And this chick, after running away, it was still very active. So the owner was very curious and started helping this chicken. So the esophagus is open. He tried to give some water and rice grains. So this chick lived without the head for nearly 18 months. Even in Colorado, they will celebrate Mike the Headless Chicken Day. So this is very fascinating, and it proves that you can live without head at least some period of time. In another case, this is the curious case of Phineas Cage, and it was a person who is a foreman working in a railway department, railway construction department. And then accidentally he met with an accident where a large iron rod was driven into his, damaging most of the areas of the brain. He was able to survive for almost 12 years. The only problem is his personality, behavior, and other things got affected, but otherwise he's leading a normal life. This is again another incident which is telling that even a part of the brain is lost, still humans can survive. But if you see the case of heart, this person, Stan Larkin, is a 25-year-old American, and he is wearing an artificial heart. He should wear it 24/7, and he's wearing it for more than a year, 555 days, and because he's waiting for a real heart for transplant. So this shows that even though the person doesn't have a brain, they can survive for some period of time. But if they don't have heart, it is very difficult to survive. However, a complete artificial whole heart has been made, and it is very easy to transplant. Whereas if you talk about the brain, we are very hard about brain transplantation or making an artificial brain. So in this case, we can say that brain is one of the important organs, and even biased discussion, the ancient Egyptians they used to believe is the main organ. So whenever they used to make the mummification of the kings, they used to remove all the organs of the body, and they used to keep the heart, and then they used to mummify, hoping that heart has all the emotions and memory, and it tells the true character of the person, and brain and other organs just supporting the heart. Even if you see the cardiocentric hypothesis by philosophers, the Greek philosopher Aristotle, he first observed the chick embryos, and he was fascinated by looking at the tiny heartbeat. And then in the 9th century, Arabic philosopher Abu Nasr Farabi also told that the ruling organ is the heart.
Excuse me, sir.
Brain is.
Sir, your slides aren't moving, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
Pardon me?
Your slides aren't moving, sir. Like we are not able to see the slideshows.
Sir, your slide, sir. Now it's okay, sir.
And I think somebody has to mute their mic. I'm getting a lot of disturbance while I'm speaking. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir, it's okay, sir. Sir, you continue in the Chrome page itself, sir.
In the Chrome
You
page
can
or
share
window? On window?
No, sir, no, sir. You are sharing, no, sir. In sharing, Windows sharing, you continue, sir. Chrome itself.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
But when I open this Google Meet window, I can see my slide, but I cannot move it up and down. So I have to go separately.
Sir, it will move, sir. You can move it with your arrow, sir. Arrow keys it will move, sir.
No, sorry to say, but it's not happening.
Sir, you do one thing, sir. You go for the entire screen share, sir. Instead of Windows, you go for the entire screen share. Then it will be
Entire
easy for you.
share. Okay, let
Yes,
me
sir. You go for the
check this. So I will stop here and share it again.
Yes, sir. You don't have to log out, sir. You should only stop sharing and
No,
again
I'm not
go for
logging
the.
out.
Okay,
So
sir.
I
Now
will
you go
share
for
it.
sharing also.
Sharing the entire screen.
Yes, sir.
But if it comes reverse again,
No, sir. It will be okay, sir.
is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So somebody should mute so I can hear some noise. So it's being difficult for me to.
Okay, sir. I'll just move them on, sir. Sir, you open your PPT, sir. You open your PPT.
Yeah, I'm doing that, but there are a lot of windows.
Yes, sir. You don't bother that, sir. You only open your PPT. Everything will disappear and your PPT will be displayed, sir.
Like you mean to say in the same Google Meet window or separately?
No, sir. Google Meet window itself is enough, sir. It can move, sir. Now your slides will move.
Because I cannot see my slide itself.
Sir, if you have shared the entire screen, no, sir. Open the PPT, sir. You open the PPT.
Okay, now can you see?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. So sorry
Yes.
for the interruption, and I think you can also make somebody who is unmute, so you can mute them, so you can listen to my talk.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so sorry for the.
Please
Sir.
unmute your mic, sir.
Sir, you have muted yourself. Please unmute.
So is it audible now?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
Yeah. So I was talking about this importance of brain when compared to other and the beliefs. So here we have cardiocentric hypothesis where the philosophers believe that heart is the seat of intelligence, emotion, and sensation. But later on, they came to know that brain is one of the most important one, and it is the soul and the seat for intelligence, and all feelings originated from the brain. So one of the first person is Hippocrates, of course, Greek physician, and followed by Galen of Pergamon. So he also pointed out that the brain was responsible for sensation and thought. So am I audible? Can you listen to my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, we can listen.
So in fact, if really King Tutankhamun has life after death, and then if he comes back from the mummification process, do you think can he remember, or can the heart tell that he's the king of Egypt and he has a lot of wealth? So I feel heart cannot express all these feelings. If at all there is an organ which can express, and that should be the brain. And even in the paintings on the roof of Sistine Chapel in Vatican City, the paintings done by Michelangelo, so he made an art shaping the person, the god, in fact, in the shape of a brain. And in his writings, he told that intellect and consciousness was a divine gift, and there was a brain right there in the painting. So if you look into the right side of the art, this is the first human, and then on the right side you can see God with the shape like a brain. So if you just check with the structure of the brain, and if you emphasize the parts, like this is an occipital lobe, this is a cerebellum, and this is the pituitary gland, and here the synapse where is sending the information. So God is in fact sitting on it. That is what they used to believe looking at the creation of Adam in the arts of Michelangelo. Now coming to the mysteries of the brain, so we have to understand there are myths about the heart. So when you say love you from bottom of my heart is crying for you, my heart says I love you, all these things are not even counted. You have to just keep it in trash. If at all somebody loves you, it comes from your brain. So being in love, emotions, feelings, memories, learning and intelligence is more about the brain than the heart. So from today onwards, all the audience and all the students who are listening to my lecture, you have to change your notion, and you have to change the symbol, and you should express yourself with your loved ones that I love from my brain, and my brain says I love you. My brain is crying for you. So instead of saying my heart. So please keep this in mind. Now, when coming to the importance of brain, if brain is the main organ and every living being has a brain, why only human brain or humans are top of the food chain, and why some species simply extinct, and why some species are able to continue the life and humans are residing on top of the food chain? So when we want to discuss about this, humans have this special ability that is adaptive skills and smartness. And what provide these key features? It is the brain and huge, highly developed brains, which the humans have, is making us to reside on top of the chain and rule the living world. So what makes the human brain different? When you compare the brain weight and the body weight, the ratio is close for humans. Whereas if you see the dinosaurs, it is 1:20,000. For whales and elephants, it is 1:2,000. Monkeys, 1:100. So somewhat a little close, like chimpanzees, who are also considered as intelligent creatures when compared to the humans. So due to the small brains somewhere here for this dinosaur to control the huge body, it is highly difficult. And then this is the reason why these creatures are extinct. And the brain became the most important organ for adaptability and survival, especially in humans. And if you say when humans have highly developed brains, the primitive humans, that is Neanderthals, they were almost 99.5% genetically identical to modern humans, but still they are also extinct about 25 to 30,000 years ago. So you can say why, because they have a brain which is similar to the brain and body weight ratio, but why still Neanderthals are extinct? So upon research, they found out that frontal lobe plays a major role, and Neanderthals have underdeveloped frontal lobe. So they can only do very small functioning, like more visual and less social, and they have very less creativity. So I think either by hunting or for reproduction, that is what they use their brain. So Neanderthals also could not stay in this world, and they got extinct. And if you see the development of mammalian brains, it took about 200 million years. So starting from anthropoid till reaching Homo sapiens sapiens. So initially, it was only art, which was 60,000 to 30,000 years ago. Then brain developed and language and math skills developed around 5,000 years ago. Started thinking about science 3,000 years ago. And modern computers came into existence 70 years ago. Presently, cell phones and information and communication technologies are ruling. And today we are able to understand the brain, and we are able to repair a lot of brain problems. So if you look into the person till date, we all know that Albert Einstein is considered as one of the most intelligent human in this present world. So Dr. Louis, he got the permission to explore the difference between the normal brain and the Einstein's brain. And he found out that the parietal lobes in the Einstein brain are a little bit larger when compared to the normal typical brain. So these parietal lobes are responsible for visuospatial cognition, intelligence, and mathematical thoughts. So he's also called as parietal genius, or because he is having supranormal parietal lobe. Now, if Einstein is alive, what would Albert Einstein think of artificial intelligence? Of course, definitely we cannot tell because he is not here or he is no more. But people have considered if Einstein was alive, he would strongly advocate for the technology. But some audience, some believe that even though he will strongly accept this technology, maybe he will have a trouble in how it is implemented. So no matter where we stand on this debate, one thing is for sure, artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it will stay for the future generations for a long time to come. So let's take a closer look on artificial intelligence. So as you can see, somewhere in 1952 to 1956, the birth of artificial intelligence has been done. But during that time, they believe that AI is a model of what's going on in the brain, but it's not at all a copy of the entire human brain. The advantage that human intelligence has is doing mistakes. While doing these mistakes, humans, they generated corrections and solutions. But if we assume that artificial intelligence doesn't make any mistakes, it can only keep you on the same path like how we program. In other sense, chaos is a plus, not a minus, like confusion or having a negative impact or getting bad experiences. All these things is a plus so that we can learn from that. The only thing which is lacking in AI is the essential ingredient of consciousness. So scientists are always striving to get close to this consciousness. The human brain inspired neural network, artificial intelligence. This is the word which they use because in humans, in the brain, billions of neurons communicate each other and they process and store and give a response for a stimuli. It is similar in the artificial intelligence also. They have neurons, but not like the living neurons or cellular neurons, but they are simple numbers from 0 to 9 arranged in different layers. So how much it is really like your brain? Because our brain is a cellular machine and it can only do on or off response, like just with a pulse or stimulation or completely absence. It can also tell you what is yes or no, and it can tell you true or false. So that is the first instinct for the scientists to also start AI and talking about neural networks. If you compare the human brain with a supercomputer, artificial intelligence focus on designing machines that can mimic human behavior, whereas human intelligence is actually having the capabilities to learn from past experience, adaptation to new situations, handling of abstract ideas, ability to change his or her own environment using a gained knowledge. So just a small comparative table here. The source is from LinkedIn. So here you can see the weight of a human brain is about 1.4 kilogram, and the weight of a supercomputer is about 150 tons. And space of a human brain is just 1/6 of a basketball, whereas the supercomputer is a big size like a basketball court. And processor speed, about 1,000 trillion operations per second for the brain, whereas 93,000 trillion operations per second for the supercomputer. And by all this, our brain uses only 20 watts of power to do all these programs, whereas the supercomputer uses 10 million watts. So it is like a big block of city, and to cool that, we need a river, and to power it up, we need some nuclear plants. If we have to compare with brain, but our human brain works with just 20 watts. So they have done some advantages and limitations. If you talk about input and output, information processing and memory, always the computer or the AI wins. But if you talk about complex movements, vision, language, and structured problem solving, we are closely matched with the AI. As you can know that using the AI, I did not remember the name, something like Deep Blue or some software. Using that software, human played chess, and then he was almost was able to make a draw 4 times, and computer won 1 time and human won 1 time. So they can always closely matched results. But however, if you talk about creativity, emotion, empathy, planning and execution, consciousness, brain still wins. So when we are talking about the importance of brain, the most negative effect is it is very vulnerable, and because of its huge lifestyle related issues or infections, nutrition related issues, our brain is prone to having several problems. We call it as neurological disorders like AD, PD, and ALS, etc. And also we have some other like epilepsy and multiple sclerosis. Now, when we talk about neurodegenerative disorders, they are progressive and fatal degenerative diseases, and they will reach more than 150 million by 2050. And it becomes the second most prevalent cause of death after cardiovascular diseases. So the academic laboratories, biotech companies, and pharma companies, they are pursuing new targets and conducting clinical trials to find treatments for neurodegenerative diseases. The most shameful thing, or the thing to be focused, is there is no approved drug for these diseases since 2005. So you can see neurodegenerative diseases, they are not very particular about so-and-so person. They can come to any person. You can see the examples like Ronald Reagan, US President, and Charles Bronson, American actor, James Stewart, Hollywood star. So it is not leaving any person, even if he's rich, poor, or caste, creed, color, president, singer. Everybody have to face this problem if it occurs. Some famous people for Parkinson's disease, Huntington's and ALS, you can see Adolf Hitler, Mao Zedong, Pope John Paul II, Muhammad Ali, most of you know, Stephen Hawking. So this means that it is very devastating and it is spreading. Now, the use of artificial intelligence in drug discovery and why pharma research needs these AI tools. One reason, by using the traditional work, there is a low success rate and a huge cost of bringing a new medicine to patients. So if we do some minor improvements, it can save companies with millions of dollars. And also the people who are suffering, they are waiting for an innovative cure. So these biopharma companies, they are investing in AI, particularly deep learning and machine learning. I think the earlier speakers might be talking more about these things. And then they have a very potential to make the hunt for drugs cheaper, faster, and more precise. So here are some companies like Pfizer, like Takeda, Sanofi. So they are trying to bring some new drugs using the AI technology. Now, artificial intelligence, the main purpose is to find new candidates in months rather than in years, to make more accurate predictions on the efficacy and safety of a drug candidate, and to enhance the success rate of the entire drug development pipeline. So for doing this, there are some 5 major cases on artificial intelligence in drug discovery. So they are using molecular library screening about 40%, target identification about 25%, preclinical studies about 7%, and de novo drug design about 8%. The interest for today's session and my interest is about the use of drug repurposing and artificial intelligence for drug discovery in neuroscience. So just to give you a small input about the neurodegenerative diseases. And we can use synthetic products, we can use natural products, and we also can use the existing drugs, which is the focus of today's session. The last source, which is drug repurposing, and the most advantageous one, because we already know about the pharmacokinetic and dynamic profiles, so it will be easy and taking less time. So why we have to repurpose the drugs? Because for getting a drug, they're almost sending $16,000 million for neurodegenerative diseases. And for every 100 drugs, 60, they are advancing to phase 2, 20 into phase 3, and only about 12 gained FDA approval. Now, if you add AI tools into this strategy, we can still get or increase about 30% efficiency for getting new drugs. So for repurposing, we can just use about $300 million when you compare about $1 billion or $2 billion for a drug and the cost for which it fails. So here you can see in a simple way, drug repurposing, drug retasking, reprofiling, repackaging, all are synonyms, and discovery of new indications for approved or failed drugs, which we pretty well know. If some of you or many of you might be playing the Legos, and using the same blocks, we can make many images. So usually in conventional process, we discover drugs either by target basing or phenotypic, like lock and key model, or using some experimental approach. So usually we take a disease and then we try to get a lot of small molecules and then target some protein and then try to see whether it is used for the existing indication. What the drug repurposing will do, or what we are missing, is the same small molecule can also work as an off target into a different protein used for different phenotype and used for another alternative indication. And the small molecule binding the same protein, it might be involved in several other mechanisms, and it can also use an alternative indication. So these are the two steps which we are missing while using the conventional drug discovery. And by using drug repurposing, we can show our interest in the missing pathways, and then we can make the time consuming lesser and get some potential drugs. So drugs which can be repurposed from approved and marketed compounds used in clinical settings, drugs which are not used and kept in shelf can also be used, repurposed from the drug discovery projects where they have discontinued for some reasons. So the main motivation for using this is we can further the market and extend the application line, and also we can increase the patent life and also increase the revenue thereby, and we can find for treatments for rare, neglected, and degenerative diseases. So these are some of the fantastic examples for drug repurposing and the success rate. So here, sildenafil, it is repurposed from clinical side effects. So based on the side effects, this wonderful drug Viagra came into existence. So actually the patient is complaining about some erectile problems or erection. So this led to a wonderful and miracle drug Viagra. The second one is repurposing from an hazardous drug. So the drug which is very hazardous for one indication can be repurposed for other indications like erythema nodosum leprosum, and also it can be used for treatment of painful inflammatory conditions. The third one is based on expanding the application line. So the drug raloxifene, selective estrogenic receptor modulator, it was repurposed for osteoporosis, then repurposed for breast cancer in postmenopausal women. So this is like using the same drug for different applications, indications, and thereby increasing the application pipeline. So there are several other drugs which can be repurposed, but now the game player, the AI in drug repurposing and how it can be used. So usually it is speeding up especially in drug repurposing and discovery. So what they do is, it is unifying the knowledge and actions by using the real world and experimental data, and it is identifying the effective therapeutics. Around 30% of repurposed drugs finally make it to patients instead of the traditional way where only we have 10 to 12% of success rate. AI also gives insights into polypharmacology because it is able to target, it is able to find different targets associated with one or several conditions. A common approach is to build graphs that reflect relationships between genes, diseases, and drugs. One of the example is graph neural networks, which is applied to predict previously unknown connections. When it comes to the drug repositioning or repurposing, one of the approach used is computational drug repositioning, wherein we can use the profile-based drug repositioning in that, network-based drug repositioning, and data-based drug repositioning. Basically, it involves analyzing large data sets of drug and disease information and to identify potential new uses of existing drugs. So AI algorithms can be used to identify these patterns and relationships between drugs and diseases. And from using these patterns, we can predict which existing drug can be used for a new therapy or a new disease. The next approach is network pharmacology. So this involves analyzing complex interactions between drugs, targets, and diseases to identify new opportunities. So these algorithms can be used to analyze large networks of molecular interactions and identify potential new drug targets or combinations. The approach of framework using the network pharmacology works like this. This was obtained from Yufeng et al., where he used this network pharmacology for traditional Chinese medicine. So here, based on the formulas are herb, compounds, and proteins and disease, that is the research object, and edge definition using knowledge-based, experimental-based, and computational-based. By using these two network connections, they were able to identify some potential molecules where they can analyze or compare for the targets or for the new targets. So they can have the end results like highest degree, highest betweenness, and highest closeness, and also common combinations, similar chemical groups, and biological process. And finally, they could come out with a very selected new or drug repurposed molecules which can be used for another indications. Some other uses for AI in drug repurposing, mainly it can use for side effects. So once you know about the side effects of one particular usage, it can also extend whether it can be used for other indications, like in the example of Viagra, sildenafil. And other thing is also discovering new drug combinations by using this repurposing technique and AI. When we get a huge combinations, you can predict by using the algorithms for the synergistic effects of different drug combinations, and you can select the most significant ones, and you can use it for therapeutic beneficial for other diseases. So if you see AI-driven repurposed drugs, the process goes like this. So we have a data extraction from all the sources. So here we have different sources like String, Campbell, PubMed, Drug Bank. And then we are using for drug repurposing methods by using machine learning, deep learning, and network science. Then you can get some drug molecules based on these analysis data. And you can select few molecules of your interest and do some in vitro evaluation, in vivo validation, then goes for clinical trials and AI-driven repurposed drugs. Now, the rest of the process, which is on top, in vitro, in vivo, clinical trials, they are the same. But to start with a compound, instead of searching from the huge set of natural molecules, synthetic molecules, and ever evolving new drug chemicals, we can use this data extraction methods. So here, how we can correlate by using the data of the drugs, genes, and diseases. It was done by one group called the Thomas, and it is from Lucas Diaz et al., and it is talking about drug repositioning. So Nakaya and group from the University of São Paulo, Brazil, they used a software from the IBM. It is called IBM Watson for Drug Discovery, WDD. And by using this software, they mined information in millions of scientific articles they put together in this. And if you have to read these articles, it will take about 50 years. But here you can just input the data and then collect the information and get the knowledge about disorders, genes, and drugs. This software actually can read 20 million articles faster than any human. The computer used this machine learning algorithms to make correlations. And then by using the data which is obtained, they are able to use for network medicine on how these molecules can be correlated for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or dementia, or Huntington's disease. So they're trying to generate a link for finding out in a very quicker way by using this software. Another AI tool, which is also used for the old drugs for repurposing, especially in Alzheimer's disease. Ryu and Zhang group, they actually made a retrospective analysis of real world data. So they made a system which is used as a recurrent neural network. So this is an AI software. It is inspired by brain architecture. What it does, it digested all the data of the medical histories on what drugs those hundreds and thousands of people are using for several diseases. By using this drug repurposing in AD called as a DRAID, it is a machine learning framework that quantifies the potential associations between the AD pathology, its severity, and the molecular mechanisms. And also it is encoding the list of gene names. So almost by using this DRAID machine learning framework, they are able to find out about 80 FDA approved drug molecules which are used for some other purpose. And these FDA approved molecules, they can be clinically tested and they can be repurposed and can be used for Alzheimer's disease by using AI tools and drug repurposing. Another important study by Fang et al., which was published in Alzheimer's Research and Therapy in 2022, the scientists used a software called Genome-Wide Association Studies, which is called as a QUAS. Here, they have identified huge potential data for Alzheimer's disease. What they did is, by using this multi-omics data from brain samples of Alzheimer's patients, and Alzheimer's transgenic animal models, drug target networks, human protein-protein interactomes, and large-scale patient database validation, they used to, it happened that they collected all these data by using this software, and they found out high confidence Alzheimer's disease risk genes, which are called ARGs. So they identified about 103 ARGs validated by various levels of their pathobiological evidence, especially in AD. In that, 2 drugs, especially the pioglitazone, which is a PPAR agonist, generally used in type 2 diabetes, and also the glipizide, which is a secretagogue, also used in diabetes. These 2 molecules, they are able to have some positive or promising effects for Alzheimer's disease. However, the in vitro evaluation, clinical data, and approvals are still pending. So they are doing this work since many years. Then another group, the landfill, they are using the real world data softwares like IBM Explorer is Supermart, taking around 89,000 samples, and IBM Market Scan research databases by using about 1 lakh samples. So they found some candidates by using this drug repurposing in Parkinson's disease, and they identified 2 drugs like rasagiline and zolpidem, which is a psycholeptic. These 2 drugs are able to help in the treatment or delaying the progression of Parkinson's disease purely by using AI tools. So with this, there are also some other reports other than the neurodegeneration. So another team like Zheng and group, they made a deep DT net for drug repurposing. So they are embedding all the networking, connecting drugs, targets, and diseases via using the deep learning tools, which is also a type of ML in AI. And the interactions can be predicted. And Dr. Cheng's team used this deep DT net for predicting some drugs, and they found out the ROR gamma T protein, which is involved in pro-inflammatory responses associated with autoimmune diseases and neurodegeneration. So quite interesting things are happening in day-to-day research. And because my focus is on neuroscience and neurodegeneration, I try to give you some examples of how these softwares are used for bringing up some new drug candidates via drug repositioning or drug repurposing. Now let us talk about the challenges in AI in drug repurposing and drug discovery. So here, can AI replace human intelligence and creativity? Is a big question, because AI can perform specific tasks with remarkable precision. It cannot replicate human intelligence and creativity. AI lacks the consciousness, emotions, as we discussed before. The main points which we have to take into consideration is regarding AI tools is data quality and quantity. So usually it relies on huge data. So the generated data should be properly accumulated, and sometimes it is heterogeneous and very sparse. So varying qualities can be obtained. It is very difficult for AI to accurately analyze and model the data. So this point should be considered. Then comes the data privacy and regulatory compliances. So here the main concern is when working with the sensitive patient data, because AI tools does not look into the sensitive issues. They collect all the patient information, and sometimes some sensitive information might also be collected and disclosed. So we have general data protection regulations from European or US, where they will are very strict in understanding about this consent and the patient's safety or kind of privacy. The third one is lack of standardization. So because we need to still standardize the data formats and data collection and data analysis, so which can be used for drug discovery. So it is very difficult to compare results across different studies and data sets. So some standardization should be taken place in future for getting more accurate results. And then we have the interpretation and transparency. So very difficult by using an AI to have a interpretation, and it is very challenging to understand, and also how they generate this huge data and predictions and recommendations. And the fourth one is cost and technical expertise. As you know, using these AI tools, we need highly skilled software technicians or scientists, and we need huge software. So there's a lot of cost and involved and technical challenges which to be taken when you hire a skilled person. And finally, the validation and integration. So AI models also need some validation in drug discovery process, because it has to be reliable and scalable, and it has to be very efficient way. So this requires a lot of planning for getting into a good way, and especially looking into the uh, regulations. So the stakeholders for AI tools in drug discovery or drug repositioning, including the data scientists and a connection between biologists, chemists, and also regulatory authorities should be taken care for proper validation and integration. In conclusion or concluding remarks, AI is really helping a lot for drug discovery, especially in drug repositioning. And one thing we should understand is still AI-driven drug repositioning and discovery is not a magic. And you do not just press a button having a software to get the results. Of course, you get results in bundle, and it is hard to identify the associations that are significant, which can be used for drug, where it can be helpful for several indications or several diseases. So although we used big data, not the real AI tools, we are able to screen some compounds from our laboratory. And one of the compound is methylparaben, which is used as a preservative. So when we are searching for the proper molecule for proper possible neuroprotection, we came across these preservatives, and fortunately, most of the preservatives have free radical scavenger transport. And also you can see in the pictures, my well-wishers, Dr. T.V. Narayana, and also Vadlamudi Rao sir, and Dr. Sumlata madam. Very supportive for all the works, or for all the achievements which have done. And you can see my wife and my son here joining me when I'm taking this award at Nagpur. And talking about my campus, small portion, South Korea, don't confuse it with North Korea. So this is our logo, the bull. So it's a charging bull. And this is our campus, very huge and contains all the amenities. And this is our wonderful research building. And this is our department. This picture is a little bit old. You can see it was just post-COVID time. So you can see some are wearing masks and some are not wearing masks. And this is my research team. Many times we go for dinners, and during the dinners we get new ideas, and we immediately go to the lab and implement that ideas. And some really works well. Instead of just thinking in the lab, sitting in the lab meeting, sometimes it is always important to take our lab members outside and they get fresh air and fresh ideas. So very happy to say that we have good collaborations. Professor Chedangu from our university and Professor Soyuhan from Seoul National University, and Professor Dr. Ramesh Alluri from Vishnu College of Pharmacy in Hyderabad, Narsapur, and Professor Ishwar Kilari from Andhra University, and Mayur Kale from the Nagpur, and Professor Spandana Kopalli from Sejong University, and also she's my wife and she's supporting me. And it is Professor Benedicto Friastas from the Brazil, Maranhão, and not to make it in the last, but very, very special people, Dr. T.V. Narayana, the IPA president, and Dr. Sumlata Garu, the chairman and principal for Vikas Groups. They really helped us. With these collaborations, really we can do good work, and I always insist other faculties from various departments, we should always try for collaboration, and it is really helpful for you. And that is the end of my presentation. And then if at all, if you have any questions, if you don't have enough time to talk here, you can simply email me and you can ask as many questions as possible. Now it is over to the organizing members. Thank you very much, and special mention to Dr. Ramana Garu for giving me this opportunity and the entire team for making it happen. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And it is a very good informative session, sir. Sir, please stop your screen sharing, sir.
Yeah.
Because, little bit, yeah.
Yes.
So coming to vote of thanks, sir. I would like to extend my heartful gratitude on behalf of ASN Pharmacy College to Dr. K. Shushruta Garu for your valuable time for taking this session, and with very much thankful for accepting our invitation in your busy schedule, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So before the vote of thanks, and
You can speak, sir. We are not muted then. We are unmuted all.
okay, if you can unmute them, maybe they can try to.
Yes, sir. I have unmuted, sir. They can speak.
So Prasanna B is in queue, but
Yes, sir.
it is open to everyone. So
It's open, sir. Audio is open to everyone.
please, I would be very happy just to know that at least you are listening without doing your work. So, and if you cannot have time or you did not find any questions, you can simply email me, or you can ask my email from the organizing committee, and you can send it to me, your opinions and feedback. So,
Sir, we'll release a feedback form, sir. We'll definitely give you the response, sir.
yeah. So I'm still waiting for someone. If there is no one to
No, sir. I
ask,
think no one is having any queries, sir. No one has raised hand but one.
so thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope
Thank you
I
very
will
much,
be
sir.
able
Thank you
to.
very much for being here and giving us a very enlightening session and a good perspective regarding this, sir.
Thank you so much. So what is the next step? You will
I'll
end
be
this.
ending the session, sir. I'll be ending the session, sir. Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here
and so
again,
much.
sir.
Thank you so much, and have a good rest of the day. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.